Hey YouTube, this is Gabe from the Crownless Kings here, giving you a deck profile today on a deck that I recently topped a local tournament with. It's a pretty casual deck, it's pretty fun, but if you're looking for something, that's not very meta to play, but can still be very interesting and still very powerful, I definitely recommend you try it out. And that deck is something that I like to think that I created first, but I'm sure someone else did, that I call WormKeepers. And as the name implies, you play both worms and gravekeepers to get some really funky flip effect combos going off. So, no worm deck is complete without 3 copies of Worm's X. He is our kind of our big beater. He sends Worm Yagin to the grave, and he sets up our rank 4 exceed plays if he survives the turn. And we probably will because we play a lot of back row in this deck. So, since we play 3 Worm's X, we play 3 Worm Yagin. Yagin is what we usually send with Worm's X once it's summoned, and if Worm's X is the only monster you control, you can special summon Worm Yagin face down, and Worm Yagin has like a compulsory evacuation device-like effect when it's flipped face up. So it combos pretty well. It's good for getting over like Synchros or XYZs. It's got 1800 defense, so it's pretty beefy. So if both Zex and Yagin survive the turn, which with your back row they do, you can bounce an opponent's monster and then make some rank 4 plays or what have you. Alright, so we round off our worms with 2 copies of Worm Carteros. Worm Carteros is like a flip effect reinforcements of the army for worms. So turn 1, you just set them, and your opponent attacks into it, whatever. You get a Worm's X, and then you can do your Worm's X Worm Yagin play. Pretty standard for worms. On top of the worms is our Gravekeeper engine. Play 3 copies of Gravekeeper Spy and 1 copy of Gravekeeper's Descendant. Spy works in the exact same way as the worms. You set it, your opponent attacks into it, and its effect goes off. First turn, they usually won't be able to get over it, so you'll get like Descendant or another Spy, and then you can either pop some cards with Descendant or go into a rank 4 play. One thing I like to do is set Spy, get the Descendant, pop a card, and then summon the Worm's X, send the Yagin. So you set your grave up with a light and dark pretty nicely. And then you can rank 4, you can attack for 33, whatever you want. Because the deck is light and dark, we do play a Chaos Monster. So no Stunish deck is complete without 2 copies of Thunder King Ryo. It doesn't clash too much with Worm Carteros because, if you have Carteros set, you'll flip it first and then summon the Ryo. Or you'll just set the Carteros and you won't summon the Ryo if you're afraid your opponent will attack into the Carteros. But it's big, it's beefy, it's light, it's great. Worms are all light. Thunder King Ryo's light, so of course we play 1 Honest. It's also got 1900 defense, so if you got a bad hand, you can set it. You can bluff the Spy, bluff the Yagin, the Carteros, whatever. Your opponent will attack into it, and half the time they won't be able to get over it. And then you can just return it to your hand and do your actual play. The best tech monster in the deck, Tsukoyomi. Tsukoyomi flips any monster on the field face down when it's summoned. It has to do that. So if it's the only monster that's not too good, it has to flip itself face down. But if you have a Spy or a Carteros or even a Yagin, and if it was flip face up last turn because of an attack, or it's still face down, you can just flip face up, get its effect off, and then summon Tsukoyomi to reset it, and then flip it again that same turn. If it was attacked the previous turn, So some really nutty plays with this. You go Gravekeeper Spy, summon the Descendant, summon Tsukoyomi, set the Spy again, then flip it again, get another Spy, then you can pop 2, and then make a rank 4, or just attack for 26. If you prefer, you can keep one of the Spies on the field, and then during your end phases return to hand. It's also pretty good with the Yagin Carteros plays. You can just search your deck out really fast or clear an entire opponent's board. So really good. I'd play 2 if I could. And then rounding off our monster lineup is 1 copy of Blackluster Soldier because we played half dark, half light. Blackluster Soldier's big, beefy. Why wouldn't you play it? We play a pretty standard spell lineup. The big 4. Well, the big 4, I think. Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, and Mind Control. Some people don't like Mind Control because the deck doesn't play any tuners. You can very easily tech in Effect Veiler, since The deck is chaosy, and we don't play any hand traps, so Effect Veiler's not bad. With your Flip Effect monsters, it gives you an easy Cataster or a Mistworm. But I think, given the way the meta's progressing, that Mind Control is still valid, because there's lots of level 4s being played, and it's just easy to play around certain things. And of course, these big three don't need anything. Pot of Avarice. We only play the one Black Leisure Soldier. With Spy and Zex and Carteros, you go through your monsters actually pretty quick, despite having to set. So it's good to have this back. And then you rank 4 spam very often with this deck, so why wouldn't you want to add those back, draw 2? Very often you can just return 5 extra deck monsters and just Pot of Greed, basically. We also have 2 Pots of Duality. Pretty standard. This is a stun deck at heart. It just has the potential to aggro, but Duality. If you open up all traps, you can get that Spy or whatever, to get the Carteros. And then the best spell in the deck, Book of Moon. You can play offensively and defensively. It resets all your dudes. In the tournament that I topped, actually, I had an opponent, the previous turn they had attacked into my Yagin. I bounced something back. They couldn't get over it, but I didn't have any other play except I drew the Book of Moon. So I set the book. Then they went off their turn. They summoned something, trying to get over it. They attacked me with the Yagin, and then I Book of Mooned it, and then returned their monster. And so I plussed pretty hard there. It's really good. This is actually the only reason why I wanted to make this deck originally. 2 copies of Nebula Meteorite. This deck is nutty because it flips all face-down monsters on the field face up. So not only does it flip your opponent's monsters, which lots of people, except for like Chaos Dragons, don't play flip effects, or Snowman Eater, but half the time your monsters are face down anyway. So this flips Spy too, and it flips your worms. And then if you have a board of like Spy and Carteros or 2 worms, you just get so much advantage because the Spy will flip. You'll get to search for a Gravekeeper. The worm will flip. You'll get a search or a bounce. And then during the end phase, all your worms will flip back face down, and you'll draw a card for each. So with 2 worms, depending on what they are, you'll +2 off their effects, and then +2 off the draw. You can play Worm King in the deck. I don't like to add it because it's level 7. The deck already has not bad hand issues, but if you don't draw certain key monsters, or you draw Yagin versus Zex, you don't want to add to inconsistency. This card's nutty. I thought about running 3. I probably should have ran 3 over another trap card that I'll get to. But yeah, card's broken. Since we don't play Veiler, we play 2 Fiendish Chain. Pretty standard. 2 Bottomless Trap Hole. Good in the Rabbit matchup. This deck has problems against Thunder King Ryo. When we set the Carteros, Zex is only 1800, so we can't get over it. Setting Spy is fine, but they can stop that sometimes. Bottomless is fine. Over 2 Torrential, I play 2 Mirror Force. The way the meta is developing, I think Mirror Force is just a better card. We don't Torrential hurts us because we don't like to lose our set monsters. We only have the average, to get them back. So if you Torrential your board too many times, you can be left in just a top decking traps that just delay your losing. So Mirror Force is definitely better. So of course we play 2-Dimensional Prison. Get rid of those pesky Stardust, Thunder Kings, Charius, whatever. We play a heavy trap lineup, so of course you play the Starlight Road. The Solemn Brigade, pretty standard. And then a pretty good tech, actually, but I didn't like it in the tournament, was Ultimate Offering. I actually completely forgot that I decided to play it. And then I drew it, and I was like, what the hell? I can't do anything with this. People forget that Ultimate Offering says you get an extra normal summon or set. So it's actually not too bad in this deck, because if you open a bunch of monsters in this, you can, set 2, whatever, set your monster, and then next turn, just go off. If you have Nebula Meteorite in this card, and like 2 or 3 monsters in hand, it's ridiculous, because you can just set them all that same turn, and then go Nebula Meteorite the next turn, and plus pretty hard. So it wasn't necessarily a bad choice, but I don't know. I think this could have been something else. I don't main MSTs, as you saw. It could have been a Veil. I don't know. Maybe even a Spirit Reaper or something. Just anything more defensive. I won a match once with this card. Because I did the play I just talked about. I had a Carteros face down, so I flipped it. Got the Zex. I think I destroyed the Carteros, so I summoned Zex, got Yagin. Then I set this, and I had a Spy in hand with a Nebula. So I set the Spy, and then I flipped the Meteorite on my own turn, so Yagin and Spy went off. I made like 3 rank 4s, but I don't know, I don't think it's worth it. I don't know, let me know what you guys think. In the extra deck, we play a bunch of rank 4s. I think this is all pretty standard. Pearl, Cowboy, Shockmaster, which is ridiculously easy to make in this deck with Spy or Zex. It's just dumb. I called traps against an opponent and just won because even though I played a lot of traps, I had book set instead of a D prison, so I just won the game. I play Roach, rank 4. Chaos Dragon's really fast. They can pop all my back row, so it's good to have this guy. Dweller, good for the Mermail matchup. Pretty standard. Wind Up Zenmeister is amazing. It sets your own dudes, and then they flip back face up during the end phase, so you just go, flip Spy, get whatever. You can rank 4 for him, and then all your other, since you haven't normal summoned, you can summon something else, attack, and then flip it, and you'll get their effects off. Really good. Play the road, so I play 1 Stardust Dragon. Chimera Tech, I side Cyber Dragons. I actually didn't know what to side for the 15th, what to have for the 15th spot, so I just put this in, since I was already siding the Cyber Dragons, but this could be any other rank 4. I don't have Lavalval Chain or Daigusto Emerald, so, Emerald would probably be better just because you can pot of average your dudes back, but, Chimera Tech's never bad with all the machines out there. Black Ship of Corn is amazing. You can just burn for game so often. Utopia. I don't like Utopia that much, to be honest, but I like it a lot more than I did a week ago. I think it's becoming a better rank 4, and I'm not really sure why. Just the way the meta is becoming, this is a better card. Since we play Utopia, we play Chaos Ray. Chaos Ray in Ultimate Offering is busted. People don't realize that, but you can just Ultimate Offering all day, set all your dudes, wait a turn, whatever. Flip all your effects off. If you've played Solemn, if your life points are low enough, this card is busted with Ultimate Offering. And you can just, Shockmaster, call traps, and then go Chaos Ray Utopia for a game. And then, of course, Maestroke. He's probably my favorite. He's dark. A lot of the rank 4s are dark or light, so they combo well with the Blackluster Soldier. I contemplated putting a Chaos Sorcerer over the Ultimate Offering. I'll try it out. I only play the 5 darks. The 5 darks, though, so I don't know. I'll have to test it. And then the side deck, I play 2 copies of Snowman Eater. That's not a Snowman Eater. 2 copies of Snowman Eater, because it combos so well with the deck already. It's 1900 defense, so, if they sat in Riles or something against you, whatever, they crash into it, you say bye-bye. You can reset it with Tsukoyomi, which is busted. I've done that so many times. Oh my god. We play 2 Cyber Dragons. We play the Chimera Tech. Another Ryo killer. It's just good if you're going second game 2. Versus machines, whatever. Other trap-heavy decks usually don't play big beaters. So Cyber Dragon either baits out the bottomlesses or the D prisons, or just gets over their dudes, and then you can control the field pretty well. This is my favorite side deck monster, Doom Caliber Knight. I side this in almost every deck that I play. He's amazing in the Rabbit matchup, amazing in the Chaos Dragon matchup. Gets machines, those are pretty big right now. Wind-ups. He just puts in so much work. 1900 attack is so difficult to get off, especially if you go first and you summon him with some back row to protect him. People don't like Doom Caliber too much because Effect Veiler and Max C make him, negate, and he'll like suicide himself. But people will side out the Max C against you, and they may or may not keep the effect veilers in. Half the time your flip effects go off during their turn anyway. So Doomcow stays pretty beefy. He's a dark for Black Leisure Soldier. He's just so good, and I side him in almost everything. Like Tukaku. I don't know. I thought it'd be useful. He's a dark. He's level 4. You can exceed with him. Like, I never sided him in. I think I sided him in once in the last round, and then he got like bottomless, so he didn't even go off. This could be something else. I was thinking about Gozen match. I don't know. Whatever. 2 Mind Crush. This card's great. Good for the Mermail matchup. So many things search nowadays. I don't like it in the Rabbit matchup too much, but in almost every other matchup, they just search versus heroes, wind-ups, even Chaos Dragons with Charge, Eclipse Wyvern, shenanigans. Love this card. Soul Taker, pretty standard, I think. One of the best side deck cards out right now. And then the 3 copies of MST that I don't main, because Decree fucks this deck over a little bit. It's good to have, whatever. Alright, so there you go, guys. Let me know about what you think about the deck. Try it out. Test it. It's really fun. It's not meta. I know a lot of people don't like playing meta decks all the time. So if you're looking for a good change of pace, something refreshing, something that's fun, and I don't know, with Tsukoyomi and all the Engraver's Spy, it reminds me a lot of old kind of Goat Control set format. So try it out. Let me know what you think. Please like, comment, and subscribe. See ya.